without Yorane and Jamar Young, obviously minutes and fouls were at a premium. Wondering how you and the staff coached or talked to your bigs about whether to change your plan to protect themselves on either end of the floor tonight. And along those lines, how did that change after Ludgy DeBow got ejected?
We knew, obviously being down shorthanded, and especially with Gardner and how aggressive he is offensively, that keeping our bigs out of foul trouble was going to be a big key to this game. It was easy to pick up in the first half, which wasn't ideal. But we have really good depth, and we have guys like Tyson and Will that can step up and move over to the 4 spot if they have to, and then Ethan and Everett can move and play some 5. And then obviously the big fella Jasey was terrific today. He had to play more minutes maybe than he typically does by a few, but I thought they did a terrific job of handling Gardner. I know he scores a lot of points, but he takes a lot of shots too. But I thought our bigs did a great job of adjusting and staying in the game for the most part.
Next question, Sam Blum.
Hey, Jay.
Hey, Sam.
Oh, I'm curious about the just the way you guys closed out this game, because it's been, I know you even tweeted about it the other night after Tulsa. It was kind of escaping that one, but to kind of close this one out on a high note, how do you kind of feel like that happened? And then also going back to Yor a little bit, do you expect this to be a long-term thing for him?
This is a crazy time we're living in with this COVID stuff. I know we kind of explained to you guys how tough it is on our staffs and our players, and it's a lot, man. It can really add up. And so, those guys are stepped away at this moment for personal reasons, and we respect that. And that'll be a day-to-day stuff, and we'll cross the bridge when it comes up. But yeah, they're out for personal reasons, and we'll have them back when we get them back. Second part of the question, as for finishing games, that's something we just have to do a better job of. We have a team that's managed to get double-figure leads on teams. Tulsa, Memphis, even tonight, we had double-figure leads, and sign of a good team is closing them out. Every team makes a comeback. It's rare. If they're not going to make a comeback, they're not a very good team. Every team that's worth something is going to make a push. But it's our job to make sure their push gets stopped. They brought it all the way back to a tie game, and we did a great job of making our own push back and finishing the game like we need to do more consistently.
Next question, Damon Sales.
Hey, Jay, what was said at the 49-49, I think it was the 8:22 mark, what was said to the team? Seemed like they really kind of took it to a second gear. And also, how gratifying is it for you guys to get a victory like this on the road and only hit 4 3-pointers?
Well, the first part of your question, when they brought it back to a tie game, we just told our guys this is great for us, man. Like this is something we haven't done a good enough job of finishing out games when we've had leads, and we got hit with a little bit of adversity. They got a good punch in and tied the game back up, and we'll see what we're made of here and see how you guys want to respond to that. And I thought they were terrific, man. They came back out with some serious fight, kind of like they did after we got down in that first half. They responded, which as coaches, you love to see that. As for not making shots, obviously 4 for 22 is not an ideal percentage, but to go on the road, and especially games we lost last year. We lost at Tulsa last year. We took a tough loss last time we were here at East Carolina on a buzzer beater or overtime. I forget how exactly it went down, but it was a big deal to our guys to come back and get these wins on the road. Not making shots, that'll happen some nights, but if you put yourself in a position to win without making shots, that's a good feeling.
Next question, back to Steve Lansdale.
Yeah, Jay, you mentioned Jaden Gardner, and the first time you and ECU met, you held him to 13 points, and you pointed out today he scored 23, but you still made him work for it. He went 6 for 18. Why has your defense been effective against a player who's had a lot of success against a lot of teams? And then secondarily to that, Tremont Robinson-White has been really effective the last several games for ECU. You shut him out tonight. What'd you do with him tonight that was effective?
Tremont, he's been shooting the ball really, really well from deep. That was a big key, obviously, with him is he's been shooting over 40%, if not for the season, for the last stretch. So just making sure when he catches it, he feels a crowd, making him put the ball on the floor. You can't give him open looks because he's shown a consistency to knock that down. I thought we rotated guys on him and they all did a pretty good job. As for Gardner, I think you got to give Shag, Ethan, and Jasey and Everett, Ferran even a ton of credit. They know he's a key matchup. Ethan's been guarding him well for years. He knows his game pretty well, except for a few gambles and things we didn't want. I thought they were really, really solid. And when we didn't foul him, he really struggled to score. When the foul troubles, we're in the bonus pretty early. That definitely caught up to us. Got some ticky-tack fouls where he got some easy free throws. But for the most part, you got to give our big guys a ton of credit. We didn't really trap. We left them play one-on-one, and they did a fantastic job.
Next question for Sam Blum.
Yeah, I'm curious if you got a chance to look at the play on Ethan by Leggy DeBow and what happened with that, because it looked intentional on the television from my vantage point. I'm curious what you saw, and then also last question for me, just big picture. You've obviously been out a long time, come back. I know it's been a weird. You guys come in and have 3 coaches, co-ed coaches. How has this kind of experience kind of been for you in just a weird time?
First part, the step over or step on, whatever that was, it was right in front of our bench. I had a pretty good look at it. It looked not right. So I asked Ethan, and our staff all wanted him to check the monitor. It just didn't look right, and sure enough, it was a technical and an ejection. So I mean, that's what that was. We thought it was not something that should be legal in a basketball game, and it wasn't. But second part, yeah, it's a crazy time. I've managed to avoid COVID, but I still got contact traced and had to miss 3 or 4 games. And then I come back in, and it's been terrific in a sense that obviously we want our boss. We want Jank here. He's the leader of the ship. But in his absence, we just want him to make sure he's healthy, 100% healthy before he comes back. And between, Coop, Yafet, myself, and the rest of our staff, or Hatch, Iki, Stout, Zach, they're amazing. Everyone's just a collaborative effort between a lot of guys that they just want to win. We all try to give ideas and thoughts during the game and kind of come to a consensus, and that's what we go with. It's been really good.
Next question, Kevin Reynolds.
And kind of going off of that, how much communication have you had with Coach Jankovic over in between games, and how is he doing? If you can give us an update on him.
Yeah, I think he's doing a little bit better. But again, we just told him, make sure you're symptom free and 100%. That's the most important thing, is his health. But we talk to Jank every day. I mean, he's a big part of these wins. We're the ones doing the in-game adjustments and things like that. But he's a huge part of preparation. He's watching film. He needs to probably relax and stop watching so much film. He get in the bed and rest up. But no, he's a huge part of these wins, and we're talking to him every day as a staff. It's like he's here with us. He's just not here during the games. That's the difference.
Next question, back to Damon Sales.
Intangibles question for you, Jay. When you look at the team, 10 players played, 9 players get points. That's always going to be something for an opposing team that's going to give them nightmares. Your thoughts on that? And also, you guys shot the ball extremely well from the foul line, 19 of 20. Let me get your assessment on that as well.
Yeah, we wanted to. We know ECU. They kind of wanted to play 7, maybe 8 guys, and they were coming off that Memphis road trip, which is a tough one. That's a really good team, and they were coming off that road trip. We knew we wanted to get bodies in and run the ball and come at them in waves, see if we couldn't wear them down over the course of the game. I don't know if that happened, but the result was the correct one. We just turned it over a little too much. Want them to be aggressive on the break, but it can't result in turnovers. As for the free throw shooting, we do drills, and every coaching staff does drills, and the main thing is the guys being in the gym, just getting up enough reps that they're confident when they step up to that line that they can make free throws. And thankfully, we've got a team full of gym rats. They love being in the gym. They get extra shots up on their own, and that's credit to them, just putting in the work and being good from the stripe.
And last question to Steve Lansdale.
Yeah, Jay, Kendrick Davis obviously had a very strong game offensively after a stretch where he struggled for 2 or 3 games. Wondering what you and the staff did, if anything, to help him get through that. And then when you have a player like him who can do so many things offensively, are you okay riding the hot hand like that, or do you need to get more balance from your other guys going forward to Wichita State and Tulane and South Florida and the rest of the teams on your schedule?
I don't know that we did anything in particular. Memphis had done a really good job on him, and these matchup zones we saw in a couple of those games, it's a little bit different from your everyday defense. And on top of that, Kendrick just missed some shots he usually makes, so we weren't worried about any kind of slump or anything like that. He's a terrific talent, and that usually rises up enough occasions. As far as the scoring distribution, I think Damon hit it. We everybody that played scored, except I think Will didn't, but he was amazing in rebounding and getting on the floor and doing a lot of the dirty work stuff. But we have multiple guys that can score. Ethan, we can play through him. Ferran, the big fella inside. Emmanuel's gotten hot and had big nights. So if Kendrick's our leading scorer, that's fine. But we don't feel like we need to rely on him to score 20 points, 25 points a night in order to be successful. Tonight was his night. The next night might be somebody else. But yeah, I think we have a team full of capable offensive players, and they've shown that throughout the year, and they'll keep doing that.
Hey, Zach, congrats on the win. I know obviously with your being out, that probably changed the complexion of, how you might play a little bit, given that, the foul trouble has come up sometimes, and with him out, I'm sure that, is even more of a concern. How much kind of notice did you have on being kind of the go-to, the main center today, and how do you kind of think it all played out?
I think it played out well. I feel like I handled the pressure pretty well as far as like them coming over, trying to double team me or just reading the offense or reading the defense, and I feel like we did a really good job.
Next question to Steve Lansdale.
Yeah, Isiah, how did things change for you and the other bigs on either end of the floor after Ludgy Badeau got ejected for ECU?
I'd say that we played more physical, made sure to drive it in the lane. They didn't have a shot blocker down there. So it was more thinking about playing more aggressive and trying to find ways to get their bigs out of trouble.
Next question, Damon Sales.
Zay, you guys had 5 road games in a 6-game span. What was this stretch like for you guys overall? And also, this was a defensive win for you guys. Does this just kind of talk about that in regards to how it defines you? Everybody wants to talk about the offense, but this is a good defensive win for you guys.
Yeah, it was. Well, the last five games, it was kind of tough, but we had to fight through adversity. So it was a great win to get today, and we had really big time competition as well, playing against Memphis and UFH and stuff like that, and also picking up a W against Tulsa. So it was a really tough stretch, but we made it through. I feel like we did a really good job in trying to stay together and stuff like that. And you said the game defensively today. I feel like we had to make sure that because at the beginning of the game we had a really rough start offensively, but we knew that if we should stay to our principles, that basically we would have control of the game. So yeah.
Next question back to Sam Blum.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about free throw shooting, because I know Memphis, you come in, beautiful shot. I think Tulsa, great shot, but you've had a couple that I don't need to tell you, probably not what you wanted.
That's good.
How much do you work on that? And, are you kind of, do you have confidence when you're up there? I mean, that's what I'm curious about.
Of course. I always try to make sure that I'm always trying to get in the gym, trying to make sure that I'm always practicing my free throw shot, especially my free throw shot. And I don't think about misses. I always think about the next shot I'm gonna take or next free throw I'm gonna take. So, yeah. But yeah. I mean, air balls, you know what I'm saying? It's part of the game. So I just shrug it off and think about next play.
Next question, Steve Lansdale.
Jay Duncan was talking about the defense that you guys played against Jaden Gardner. You held him to 13 in Moody Coliseum, and then tonight he got 23, but you had to work for him on 6 of 18 shooting. What is the key, whether it's you or Ethan or Ferran or whoever's on him, what's the key to defending a guy who's one of the most consistent scorers in this conference?
Being sure to stay down because he has a good shot fake. So, and making sure that he having a hand up when he's trying to attempt a mid range. So, but yeah, it's honestly just try honestly your hardest to stop him. So, but I mean, yeah. So basically, yeah.
Next question, Damon Sales.
Zay, you and I both go back to Texas A&M, and I've got to ask you about this. As a freshman with the Aggies compared to where you are now, what are some of the things that you've learned the most, and where have you seen the most growth just from your game?
I'd say leadership. I feel like I've stepped up as a leader going through the process from freshman year to now. But like I was a little laid back in my first couple of years, and after the last year, I took a lot of tips from Isiah Mike from last year, and just to be a confident leader and just make sure that you always got everybody engaged in the game, no matter what the situation in the game may be. So I feel like that's the main part of my game that I've been able to, and especially on the defensive end, I'd be able to talk out the screens or be able to talk on the court and let everybody know like what's going on and stuff like that. So yeah, I feel like that's the part of my game that I've grown the most in.
All right, we got Steve Lansdale, and then we'll have one from Sam Blum, and that's it.
Yeah, there was a stretch there right up until the very end where East Carolina went something like 8 minutes without a field goal. How much of that was a result of you guys ramping up your defense, or was it also partly ECU just cooling off a little bit at a time that was very inconvenient for them?
I feel like it was more of us wanting to get stops. We want to get more. So when we want to get what's called a kill, is like 3 stops. So we want to make sure as many stops we can get. So I feel like that's honestly we just kept motivating each other and make sure we get the screens, make sure we hard hedge, do all the other little things that basically needed to be done on the defensive end to stop them. So yeah, I feel like that's what we did.
All right, and last question, Sam Blum.
Just real quick, I know that before the last game, I think you may have we saw on the TV you may have hurt your lower back a little bit. How are you feeling physically? And are you is that part of kind of having to gut it out a little bit with not as much depth at center right now?
I'm doing okay right now. My lower back it's a little sore here day to day, but it's not to the point where I can't walk or anything like that. So I'm really grateful for that, and thank you for asking. But yeah, I'm doing really really better now. So yeah, appreciate it.
All right, Zay, thank you. Congrats on the win.
Appreciate it.